So, you think your life is hard because your Wi-Fi is slow and your favorite oat milk latte is out of stock? Congratulations. You've managed to forget that for 200,000 years. Your ancestors were basically just glorified, perpetually cold beef jerky waiting to happen. Welcome to your life as a Homo neanderthalensis. Get ready for a world of pain, paranoia, and the distinct possibility of being stomped into a greasy smear by a woolly rhino before you hit puberty. You don't get a birth announcement. You get a grunt and a shove. You're born in a cave. Not a cozy, well-lit cave with charming prehistoric art. No, your cave is damp, smells of stale smoke, unwashed relatives, and rotting meat, and the only interior decorating is the guano dripping from the ceiling. Your first breath isn't of sterile hospital air. It's a lungful of frigid, ice-age dust that probably carries 10 diseases we haven't even discovered yet. The welcome to the world present from Mother Nature is the Pleistocene epoch, a geological era that's essentially Earth's angry, goth phase. Forget 4 seasons. You get 2, brutally cold and slightly less brutally cold, but it's raining. Glaciers, miles high, loom on the horizon like frozen tsunamis. The wind doesn't just blow. It's a physical force, a bully that wants to steal your body heat and leave you as a fossilized popsicle. Your front yard isn't a neatly manicured lawn. It's a vast, unforgiving steppe tundra teeming with things that see you as a light snack. Cave lions, twice the size of their modern African cousins, are stalking the crags. Dire wolves hunt in packs that could tear a bison apart. And let's not forget the cave bear's 450-kilogram killing machines that might decide they want your cave back, with you still in it. Your odds of even making it to your 5th birthday are, being generous, about 50/50ths. A simple cough could be a death sentence. A scratch could fester into a limb-rotting infection. Welcome to the world. It actively, personally, wants you dead. So what's on the agenda for today? The same thing that's on the agenda every day, don't die? Your breakfast, if you're lucky, is leftover mammoth steak from last week's hunt. It's uncooked, tough as leather, and you're gnawing on it with your specialized, shovel-shaped incisors. Your jaw is a biological vice grip, not for smiling, but for processing 6,000 calories of cold, raw protein. You need that energy because your entire existence is a grueling CrossFit workout that never, ever ends. Hunting isn't a sport, it's a terrifying necessity. You don't have projectile weapons. You have a big, heavy stick with a sharpened rock lashed to the end. Your hunting strategy isn't to shoot a deer from a safe distance. It's to get a dozen of your strongest relatives together, sneak up on a multi-ton woolly mammoth or a notoriously ill-tempered bison, and start stabbing. Imagine the sheer, pants-wetting terror of charging a creature the size of a garbage truck. A creature that can gore you, crush you, or fling you into the next valley, all while you're armed with what is essentially a pointy rock on a broom handle. This is your job? There's no career change option. There is no workers' comp. If you break your leg, your clan might try to help you, but you're a liability now. A mouth to feed that can't hunt. Your social life revolves around a small clan of maybe 15 to 30 individuals. They're all your cousins, aunts, uncles, and siblings. There are no strangers, no new faces, and definitely no Tinder. You've known these same grumpy, smelly people your entire life. You huddle with them for warmth, you hunt with them for survival, and you watch them die with unnerving regularity. Let's talk about your body. You're a marvel of cold weather adaptation. You're shorter, stockier, with a massive barrel chest and a huge nose to warm the frigid air before it freezes your lungs. You are, in a word, thick. And you are in constant grinding pain. Analysis of Neanderthal skeletons shows a pattern of injuries identical to one group of modern humans, rodeo clowns. Broken bones, crushed fingers, and massive skull trauma were not the exception, they were the norm. You live with a baseline level of agony that would send a modern person straight to the emergency room. But you have no painkillers. Your only medicine is chewing on some willow bark if you can find it and hoping for the best. Childbirth is a nightmare. Your wide pelvis helps with heat retention. But it's still a life-or-death gamble for both mother and child in a filthy cave with no medical assistance. And what about your mind? Your brain is actually larger than a modern human's, but it's organized differently. Huge portions are dedicated to visual processing and motor control. You're a master of your physical environment. You can spot a predator from a mile away and navigate treacherous terrain in a blizzard. But what's missing? The parts of the brain associated with complex, abstract language and large-scale social networking. You can communicate, sure. You have a hyoid bone, suggesting you could make complex sounds. But you probably aren't discussing philosophy or telling epic stories around the campfire. Your communication is likely direct, functional, and to the point. Bison. Danger! Grug broke his leg again. The mental stress is unimaginable. A constant, low-humming anxiety that isn't about meeting a deadline, but about whether a cave hyena is going to drag your child away in the middle of the night. There's no art for art's sake, no music to soothe your soul. There are hints of ritual you bury your dead, sometimes with flowers, a flicker of something deeper. But it's a brief candle flame in an overwhelming darkness of pure, brutal survival. For over 200,000 years, you are the apex hominin of Eurasia. You are the king of the Ice Age. You've mastered fire, you craft sophisticated stone tools, the Mousterian industry, a Swiss Army knife of flint, and you take care of your sick and elderly. You are intelligent, resilient, and perfectly adapted to your world. You are a masterpiece of evolution. And you are a complete and total dead end. You are not the next step. You are the sidestep. The evolutionary cousin who was tough and strong but ultimately lacked the one thing that would matter most. You are a specialist in a world that was about to demand a generalist. Sure, you feel stressed. You have an existential crisis because you're 30 and you still don't know what you want to do with your life. Try having an existential crisis because a new species of tall, skinny, weirdly chinned people just moved into the valley downstream. You're anxious about public speaking. Try being anxious about having to stab a giant elk to death so your family doesn't starve. You worry about your gluten intake. Your entire diet is gluten-free because bread hasn't been invented and your main food group is whatever you could kill before it killed you. You complain about being cold in your office. You don't know what cold is until you've spent a winter wearing nothing but uncured animal hides, desperately trying not to become a permanent part of the permafrost. And then they arrive. Homo sapiens. They look, frail. They're tall, lanky, and don't have your powerful build or your magnificent brow ridge. You could probably snap one in half. But they're different. They multiply fast. Their groups are bigger. They don't just talk, they scheme. They have new tricks you've never seen. Spears that fly through the air at ladles. Art that covers cave walls. Needles made of bone to sew fitted clothing. They don't just survive in the world, they change it. They are networked. While your clan is isolated, they trade and communicate over vast distances. An innovation in one of their groups spreads like wildfire. An innovation in yours dies with your clan. You watch them from a distance. You might trade with them. You might fight with them. You might even interbreed with them, a final, ghostly echo of your existence that will live on in their DNA for the next 40,000 years. But you can't compete. They are the tide, and you are the sandcastle. For every one of you, there are 10 of them. They hunt more efficiently, they have better technology, and their social bonds are stronger and wider. They are simply better at being human. The climate shifts, your megafauna prey starts to disappear, and these new, clever apes are everywhere. The tragic realization dawns on you, not as a coherent thought, but as a slow, creeping dread. The world is changing. The hunting grounds are emptier. The winters feel colder. Your clan is getting smaller. You are becoming a ghost. You've survived everything the Ice Age could throw at you for 1,000 generations, monstrous beasts, crushing glaciers, unimaginable hardship. But in the end, you weren't killed by the cold or the claws. You were simply replaced. Because it sucks to be a Neanderthal, not just because your life was a brutal nightmare, but because you were the last generation to live it before your entire world vanished forever.